Hi everybody, I'm Leather Rock. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to do something I never did before. I'm going to make some Arabian flat bread. It's actually called by a whole lot of things depending on what part of the world you're at. The Israelis eat it. The people all throughout the Middle East eat it. The first time I ever had some actually was when I was doing some runway modeling in Southern California. Never mind how long ago it was, but it also can be called lavash, if I'm even pronouncing it right. And by the magic of doing things, a lot of times when you're making food videos, you actually make it twice so that you save some of the time by having some of the steps already done. So this won't take forever. So join me. I just washed my hands. And first thing I'm going to do is open up my thing of flour here. And I hope you can see. Okay, I got yeast. This is actually one of these kind of breads that you've got to use yeast, but it's a flat bread and it doesn't require any baking. It's all done on the stove here, just using an ungreased skillet. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out my yeast. And of course I had to do a conversion because the original recipe was using metrics, and us Americans, we don't do much in the way of metrics. So this is going to take 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And of course I'm going to have to dissolve that in some hot water, but you always have to feed your yeast. So this calls for a teaspoon of sugar. And did you know a sugar packet has a teaspoon by weight anyway of sugar? So I'm going to put that in with the bowl here, and then I'm going to run some hot water. Normally I don't use hot tap water. I would heat the water on the stove, because if you use hot water from the pipes will dissolve the metals and things that we don't probably want to eat. But the thing is, if you were to heat the water on the stove, the water gets too hot, you would kill the yeast, because the yeast are a living thing. And you don't want to cook them to death, because if you do that, then the dough won't rise. So, you know what? I should have used the sink in the bathroom, because it heats up a lot faster because it's closer to the water here. So, and it's getting colder and colder out, which means it's going to take longer for the heat to get in the pipes. For reference, it's 43 degrees outside now where I am. And good, the water's starting to get warm. The water shouldn't be too hot. I'm just putting about, half a cup or so, not even that, of water. And this is a glass bowl. If it looks a little dirty, it's not dirty. I used this to do this once before. So now when this dissolves well enough, then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients to make up the dough. Okay, you know what? Some of the yeast was clinging to the spoon, so get it all in here. I may end up having to use my bare hand to mix this up all the way. Hey, if it's good enough for the people in North Africa that originated this dish, and if my hands are clean, it's good enough for me. Okay, this up my hand. And I am going to measure out the flour. This calls for 250 grams of flour. that's just over 1 cup. Tell me I moved my knife. Yes, I moved the knife that you use whenever you're measuring flour. It doesn't call for sifting at first. I'm going to try real hard not to make spill it on the floor. That would not be good. The last thing we want to do is be slip sliding around here. And this calls for about 5 teaspoons of olive oil. And calls for, they said, pinch of nutmeg. It almost doesn't make any sense because this shouldn't have any kind of Christmassy spice flavor to it. And it says a pinch of salt, but I want to do a bit more than a pinch because if you figure it has a whole teaspoon of sugar, the last thing I want is a sweet dough. I'm going to start stirring this with the knife here. Since there's water and there's oil in this, and I really don't want a mess here. That's the thing, is you have to be so tricky whenever you're incorporating wet and dry ingredients. It's real easy, especially if you don't do things gradually. Sometimes you do half the wet and half the dry and half the wet and half the dry. But I think if you do that, then you end up handling the dough too much. But this is going to require some kneading, so I think that kind of makes a bit of a moot point. Now, it doesn't call for exact measurements on the liquid ingredients because in the beginning there's not nearly enough water to form a dough. So after it sort of kind of gets mixed in, then you have to add more warm water to make a kind of a dough. And the thing is, you actually can't do it using a utensil. It's a lot easier to use the bare hands to do it. And that's what I'm going to have to do here. So I'm going to get some more water. It's very easy to overdo it with the liquids, but an easy fix if the dough is too sticky, then there's a little bit too much liquid in there. But the easy remedy for that is just add a little bit more flour to it, and when it's no longer extremely sticky in the hands, then you'll know it's the right consistency. Now, here's the time for the bare hands. This looks like it is definitely too wet a dough. And I'll give you a close-up look on this so you can see what too wet a dough looks like. When it's looking like this, it definitely needs more flour. But it's really easy to work it with your bare hands. It gives a certain satisfaction to the dough working that using a utensil just doesn't do it. Hey, Freaky Frank! No, you didn't see me put the salt in. There's salt in it. Cassie had to be given a timeout. She decided to crawl all over things. She got near the rolling pin. She was going to get on this. There's a surface here I want to show you. This is not the first one that my family's had. My mother used to have one when I was growing up. It was another Tupperware one that was didn't look cheap, plasticky, and flimsy like this, but apparently it got damaged. And so this is the second one she has. So I'm gonna put my hand in there and start tossing some dough in. Put some flour in rather. Now I'm also going to take some flour and I'm going to throw it on this surface here. Throw a little bit more. Oh, here comes Cassie. You know what? I didn't lock her carrier when I gave her her timeout. I just pushed the door shut. And she's walking around now. So if you want to see kitties, you're about to see one right now. Why don't you get up on there? Yeah, like I'm talking to a deaf cat. That's really smart, isn't it? And I would love to get up here. Come on. Get up here. Okay. I got to move this to, where am I going to put this? You know what? For the time, ooh, I can't do that. Too bad this isn't attached someplace else. I'd pick her up, except right away I'm going to have to wash my hands if I do. Where did she go? Oh, she's right now. This computer's balanced on something, so if I go past, I'm so afraid of having a little accident. Okay, see this here? This is what this looks like now, and I am going to throw this onto this surface here. And this warped floor in this kitchen, I'm telling you, everything in this apartment is so crooked. The building's over 100 years old, but it must be pretty sturdy because it's held through a bunch of nor'easters that the eastern seaboard is prone to having. Oh, here comes Cassie. Want to see her? I'm going to wash this hand. After I, grab a kitty. Look at this. She's bad. She's pretty. She's bad. No, I don't need your help, sweetheart. She can't get a word. I'm going to turn that dough onto that surface as soon as I wash this hand. And I'm going to start kneading. See, she's climbing on the table. This is not a house that allows kitties to get on tables where people serve food and stuff like that. We don't do that. We don't play these kind of games. But I'm going to hope that I don't have a little problem here. Move this closer so that you get a better view at what I am doing. Maybe, you know what, maybe I can actually move this onto this table here, if that would give a better view. Maybe not. Okay. You see that? You know what? Get another handful of flour here. This is gonna be a discovery. I'm much more experienced as a stove cook than I am as a baker, but this isn't technically baking because this is a stovetop thing, but this is of bread involving real yeast. Oh, want to see? Want to see my little queen? She's pretty. Yes. You know what? She's got street smart. I think it would be a little cat like that, surviving outside without being able to hear and having to worry about all those wild animals. Even big cities have wild animals. It's not just squirrels and chipmunks and skunks and all different sizes of birds, some of which can be really dangerous to cats, dive bombing cats, and for not being able to hear. Now, this is supposed to be kneaded for about 10 minutes. Oh, I just see one of my long purple hair. I know I could tie my hair up, but I don't choose to do so. At least I'm getting started a little bit earlier than a lot of times I get around to it. But I just naturally have a lot more energy later in the day. And of course, it ends up being a self-feeding thing because since I stay up late, I tend to get up kind of late. I mean, I got up before 12 noon today, so I was able to get us lunches and pick up a few grocery items that were needed. And I'm expecting some more packages. You know, this time of year between now and Christmas is always crazy because you got to think of not only the things that you might be ordering online, but extended family is going to be starting to send things for Christmas and stuff. So a little bit more flour on here. See, this is definitely looking a lot more like dough. Still feeling a little bit sticky. There's Carrie Boy. Hello, sweetheart. My sweetheart. Oh, look what I got. Oh, look what I got. My Teddy boy. We're going to have cat hair flatbread. Cat hair flatbread. Hello. I guess I'm never going to get work in any kitchen now because you're going to see this and say, oh no, she got kitty germs in her kitchen. Oh no, kitty germs in the kitchen. Oh no. Here. Oh, be good. All right, this is a hand. It touches the feline. That's right. Drink your water. You have to drink water in here because I need to put water in the water in my room and can't do it right now. my sweetheart. Yeah, my videos just don't feel like my videos unless I show my cats. Oh yeah? I'm a little worried about my tabby boy. He's losing a little bit of weight. Normally he is about a 25-pound kitty. And these past couple of months he's looking a little bit thinner in the face. I hope it's because when I set food out for them, she goes after not only her food, but if he backs away from his bowl of food, then she goes and she eats it. And I'd like to know where she puts it, because you could see that I have not been able to fatten her up since I got her. And we've had her 3 years now. Can't believe I had that cat 3 years. Tabby boy. He's 13 now, I think. I don't know. I should have taken a look at the clock when I started this half-assed attempt at eating this. Give you a close-up look at this. Now, directions are to set this aside and let it rise for 2 hours. But I'm not going to make you wait for 2 hours because I'm not that much of an asshole. So you know what I'm going to do? Through the magic of pre-preparation, I'm going to show you the one that I already had that has been rising for over 2 hours now. And this is what it looks like when it's doubled in volume. Yes, Cass. Oh, Cassie's interested. Cassie's interested. Oh, oh. She's trying to take my dough. No dough. Don't you know that nobody's supposed to eat raw dough? That's stupid. Okay, so here's what we do. You take this raw dough, take some more flour, prep surface. But then, got to get out some wax paper. And where did I set? I know I set the damn stuff down. I thought I put it right here. Oh yeah, well you have my wax paper. Where is it? I put it. Oh, here it is. Now, wax paper is so that I can transfer the flatbreads to how I'm going to cook them. So I'm going to take this and I am going to put it a relatively clean place where no kitty's going to get her germy paws on them. Right? Right. Oh, this thing here, this is not a soup pot. It's actually a sweater that I'm washing. You know, I do all my laundry by hand, so I use big pots to soak my laundry. I've got laundry drying all over the place. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is lift this out of the thing, and then I'm going to divide this into 4. So each one of these recipes will make a total of 4 flatbreads, even though I'm going to end up with 8 of them because what you just saw me make, I just started to rise, so I'm not going to be able to make that for 2 hours. So this is the dough that I've been rising. Let me cover that other stuff so that we don't get any flies getting on anything. on here, get it nice and floury. When it's drier, it's easier to work with. Some people punch it down when it's been rising. The directions didn't seem to say to do that. Okay. I'm going to divide it into 4 once it's you can tell this has yeast in it. Yeast has a certain scent. Now I'm going to roll this out into a log kind of thing, just so that it will make it easier to cut it into 4. And of course, it's all approximate. It doesn't have to be perfect measurements or anything. Three, 4. And this is what each of these looks like. They look kind of like a small snowball. Now, first thing I'm going to do is take one of these, get this other stuff out of the way here, and my mama's rolling pin. This has got to be so old. I feel like we've always had this rolling pin. This is a good, you could beat somebody to death with it. I mean, I imagine there's been plenty of wives that have had to give beat downs to their husbands for being out of line. Not that I advocate violence. You know, it's not funny. There's nothing funny about domestic violence, and it's not about gender or anything. It can happen to anybody, and it always sucks. I am going to throw a little bit of flour on this to make it easier, and I am going to roll it into roughly a round shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. I hope you can see what I'm doing. You know, maybe it'd be easier for me to. There. Put the light here. Whoops. In case it helps me to be seen a little easier. Try not to have it falling out. Probably should have used a bigger piece of wax paper. I was under the impression that the circle was going to get to looking even bigger than the griddle that I'm heat this in. This is obviously not a circle. It would be better if it isn't too terribly big anyway, because if it was really big, then it would not fit all the way in the griddle or frying pan or whatever the heck you want to call it. And this is what this looks like. See that? Now, I guess it would be best to do these all at one time. And so I got to set this down someplace clean. Clean, that's fun. All right, get another piece of wax paper out. Some iced tea. Damn it, I just saw that. I'm not picking that up. And take flour, put it on here, put another ball of dough on here. There's some on top also. I apologize for screwing up on Saturday night. I fully intended to do something and I fell asleep 3 times from the late afternoon to the late night, and next thing you knew it was like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. A lot of times after eating a meal, you feel like getting horizontal, and next thing you know you're falling asleep. But I did feel guilty about it. But in my defense, I had the feeling that my brain just was not firing on all cylinders. And some of the things I wanted to talk about, I really needed to have a bunch of brain cells, and I wanted to be coherent, and I wanted to be all the things that you expect, especially if you're talking about current events and the news and different things that was going on. And I didn't allow myself enough time to do some show prep, certain things, especially if you're talking about news. You want to have enough of your facts straight. So, because you've got to approach it with, not everybody follows the news maybe as closely as some of us do, so you might need some basic background information on some of the people that you're about to talk about, so that you can fill in the blanks for any of your viewers who maybe weren't following things closely. And since I didn't allow for time to do that, it would have really left a lot of quality out of the finished video. So I knew that I was going to devote Tuesday to some kind of cooking, just because it's what I had been doing. Okay, see, this is what this one looks like. If you can even see without the glare of this. Well, you get the idea. Okay, I'm going to set this, I guess, on here. Then get another one out. power on here. That way, by doing all these in advance, all I have to do is cook them on the stove top. And it won't take forever. Oh, really? Sure. I think we should be able to laugh at as many things as possible. And I've experienced domestic violence, so if I can laugh about it, I think it's okay. I mean, because I know that you can tell a joke about something and it doesn't mean that you're a hater or whatever. It's like, who doesn't like off-color jokes that are offensive in different ways? And it doesn't mean that you're a dirtball. It just means that you have a sense of humor. Even though since YouTube is getting stricter and stricter with people, there are some kinds of humor that I won't do on here, but that's just so that I don't lose my channel. Like I've been on the boardwalk, seen some of my drunken acquaintances and have them start to tell certain jokes that I thought personally were funny, but I just got the feeling that some people get the wrong idea and think that we were haters or bigoted or whatever. And so some of that drunken stuff I just don't, It's a shame YouTube has us running scared like this, but they're just getting so strict and all this politically correct stuff. And anybody that knows me knows I don't have time for this PC crap. But I'm not about being mean-spirited and being hurtful to people either. And I'm not about doing things that would make people so desensitized to the suffering of other people that they treat people like less than human. And that's when that might encourage discrimination and abuse, and that's not cool. So boy, this is definitely not a circle. Oh gosh, I say stupid things too. It's sad that we're living in a day and age where if you get caught in a hot mic saying a private joke among friends and it would be deemed discriminatory or bigoted or racist or anything, then you can never live it down and they destroy your life just because somebody said the wrong word or something. And that's even the people who maybe should be offended because it's the kind of joke that defames the group that they belong to, even they realize that it's such a stifling, chilling effect on free speech. But God forbid you work for a major corporation or you've got some kind of sponsorship or something and people lose jobs and contracts, and it's ridiculous. They destroy people over a word or a joke and ridiculous. Cassie's back. Maybe you'll see. Okay, it is now 11:45, so it shouldn't go too long. Sometimes I think more people watch these things that live overseas than are here in America. Because I was talking to an old classmate the other day, and they were telling me that they went to bed at 10 o'clock at night. I'm thinking, my God, I totally am not on the schedule of most people I know. Granted, they're living more structured lives in many ways. And, you know, that's how they survive. I can't imagine going to bed that early. But then again, if you got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to a job, then I guess I do understand that. Oh, now this is, I don't want this to get dirty or germy. So I'm going to add extra. You don't know how many times the cats get on the table, and they're not supposed to be, but you know what? They will not be deterred. These cats are really, and they can be bad influences on each other. Cassie gets ideas from Tabby Boy. Tabby Boy gets ideas from Cassie. Okay. This is where it's going to get interesting. Now I'm going to move this to so you can see the stove very carefully without tripping up on all these wires here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to put this away where it's going to rise. I have another glass in my ice. Now, I'm going to heat this, and I'm not going to grease it though. And I really don't like doing that because this does have a non-stick coating, but it's a little bit older, and it always feels weird doing that with non-stick. Okay. This, oh. I didn't realize it would still be sticking to the wax paper. They did not say anything about that. I thought I had the light on. Boy. They've never said anything about it sticking to the wax paper. Okay. You know what? I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to put it on the thing there. And then I'm going to. Now, I thought the whole idea of wax paper was so that things would not stick. I think I'm going to complain to the manufacturer because this does not look right. Oh boy. Don't expect to learn anything, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just figuring this out too. I wonder if I do a better job if I was you know what? It doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to do this. But you know what? It's going to be hard because it curves up around the edges, but just to flatten this back out. Yeah, I think it'd be better to put it on cool. You know, I'm going to use something else besides rolling pin. Ah. Maybe I should put a little bit of olive oil on that so that it will not stick to this. See, this is why people just buy the stuff at the store. A lot easier. Even though when you bake things, you know exactly what's in them. You don't have to worry about if it has some kind of religious designation that's against your own religion, like if it says halal, but you're not Muslim. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe don't want to hear Allahu Akbar, you know, because they think of things that don't have anything to do with giving glory to their deity and stuff. So, now this does not look like any damn circle to me. All right, now, once it gets to the right temperature, it's supposed to have it on heat approximately 2 minutes on each side. You know what? I think I need to put this closer to so you can see. Oh, and the cord is underneath the fan. Excuse me, Cassie. Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to pull the plug on this since I've got enough battery power. Okay. Now, whoops. Maybe you can see this. Okay. And what we're going to be looking for is we're going to be looking for it to balloon up. Now, I wish there was a way that you could see me in this whole thing without my having to bend over like this. Please don't fall down. That would really suck. Oops. Sorry about that. you ask, I do not have a face mask in the kitchen right now. Do not make me burn this going digging for a mask right now. Okay? Kind of fairly low. I don't believe this letting it only be on fire for 2 minutes. Obviously, it's been longer than that. It smells a little bit like pancakes. Now, I see that I could see some coloring on the bottom. You know what? See? It's got some color. Clean towels to keep these warm while then it's supposed to keep the moisture level in them. Turn over more. Hopefully not burn myself in the process. Thing a person could do. I've got a toaster oven back here, but I don't know if those would fit that. Move this to the table from where yeah, I'm gonna see if I couldn't possibly stick these in the toaster oven, if that wouldn't also do it. Okay, I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to stick this in here to keep in here and hope that it really peels off easily. I thought that this would just peel off the wax paper. Maybe it'll be easier since I'm using this. There, that came off much easier than the first one did. I want to get more of this dough on so I don't waste anything. Oh, Okay, now this is starting to balloon up here. I can see it. I picked up some pita bread today, took it home. Oh, fine, messed up. Got a couple of 10-pound bags of potatoes, and we were going to make baked potatoes the night before last. And I prefer to keep the skin on because that's where all the vitamins are and things. But sometimes you get all these imperfections and you're cutting them out and everything. And it turned out the whole inside of this big, beautiful looking potato was all rotten inside. So much went to waste. And I hate wasting food. I think it's like one of the big sins is wasting food. And there's more than enough food for all to do. So to waste food when you know that people are born without, that's just not right. Smelling almost like it's burning too much. Yes, I will put my N95 face mask on after this, Amir, just for you. And if anybody gives any grief, I'll say, you like to see people wearing face masks and you're not hurting anybody, and I will do it for you, Amir. I got, well, you know what I have. You've seen them. And you know what? It looks like we may be having another. I was walking on the boardwalk a couple of days ago, and I noticed they opened up the visitor service center in the basement, the ground floor boardwalk hall, and it said you must put your face mask on before you even open the door. So I'm thinking, and I noticed the sign in Starbucks said that you had to wear face masks also. See? Careful with this in here. Then I'm going to just very carefully because I do not want to burn myself. So places are starting to want you to wear masks again. And it seems to me that we're behind a lot of other places where they're still wearing masks. They're supposed to. And we've been kind of lucky that things have been opened up for a while and people are living in many respects as if there was no pandemic going on. Whereas you go a couple hundred miles either direction and you see people where there's to have proof of vaccination. And what I was forgetting, I was thinking, okay, that's not unreasonable. But then I'm realizing that they're saying you got to show photo ID and proof of vaccination. And so that would screw me over too, because I have my vaccine card, but my ID is expired and I have not been able to get it taken care of. And the thing is, my hair is fading again. And I really would rather be photographed with my hair darker and brighter and not looking faded. You know, because I'm going to be stuck with that picture for, what, the next 4 years? And they keep on upping the prices on these damn IDs too. Now I heard it's $24. And they only last for 4 years. That's kind of crap. You know? And they just assume that everybody can swing $24. I can't see, I don't understand why you shouldn't be able to hear me. I put the volume up, but does not control the volume for you. If there is a problem with my equipment, can you hear my audio okay? Nice clip-on webcam on top, but I would hate for it to be screwing up on my YouTube thing. I really do want to get a better computer, but my finances are not good at the moment. Yeah, I thought I ordered one several months ago, but it's not going to happen, not from that source. I'm going to probably have to order from wish.com and wait for that slow boat from China, you know, because I'm certainly not going to go. I mean, the quality may be better, but maybe I can't afford quality. I have Comcast, and I have real more hate than love thing with them. Especially, I do my working at home stuff. I take surveys and do all kinds of internet stuff using my computer, and never fails between 3 and 5 in the morning. I'll be doing something, and the internet will go off. And I was working on a survey that was supposed to pay me $15 in my PayPal, and all of a sudden, the very last question that was going to make the thing go through, the internet cut out. And the internet did not go back on until like 12 noon. And it cost me $15. And $15 might not sound like a lot of money to most of you guys, but to me, that is something that can make a difference between a lot of things. I mean, you little digital cameras and different things for not much more than that. So, you know, I'm on a budget. I have to do things as frugally as possible. It would help if I turned the fire on. And I only have one more of those to do. Even though when this video is over, I'm going to, in 2 hours, have to do 4 more, since you saw me mix up dough and it is rising right now. And it takes 2 hours of rising before you can do this. So, here's the next one. And the fact that this particular computer only has like 4 gigabytes of RAM, I actually been playing around with different browsers, and even though Chrome is what I'm using right now I use something called TubeBuddy. A lot of us YouTubers use it. It has a lot of tools that make making videos easier, but you need to have a browser like Chrome to use it. But Chrome takes up so much RAM that normally when I'm not doing YouTube stuff, I've been using Opera, and it seems to not have screen jams so much, and it seems to allow me to do my internet tasks like taking those surveys, and even we watch videos, and depending on how many ads the videos are shown is how much the counter goes up, and the counter goes up, the more points we get, and we exchange them for PayPal. And usually it's much easier if I have two machines to do that, so I can watch the videos with one machine, and then I could take the surveys with another one. So that's what I was doing when I had the Chromebook and another HP laptop. So it really would be easier if I was working with two machines. But, you know, you do the best with what you got. And as long as you're able to put out a product and it's not too hard to watch. Like, if you had told me 5 years ago that I was going to be doing cooking videos on YouTube, I would have said that you were lying. But when you're looking for different things to film that are still interesting, that you think people are going to want to watch, and it still reflect your own personality, I mean, everybody has to eat, and I figured why not show food that I love. I mean, why else to cook if not to cook the things you love, right? Here, give a better look. Okay. And put it safely in here. Oh, Cassie figured out how to open up the door to the toaster oven, and she retrieved, oh, what was it for? She's not a stupid cat. She's just very determined. Having something to post to keep on schedule. I could make up some more hummus and do that, because that's something that's quick. Because I didn't want to just do another baking cookies or something from prepackaged mix. I mean, anybody can follow directions and get something, make something that they got at a dollar store. I wanted to put out something that required more effort, you know, that was more interesting. You can't put a video up just to put it up, even though I think it's important to be on your schedule. And whenever I don't make my, I feel like I'm screwing up and being irresponsible. You know, if you're going to take the time to watch me, I should be there, and I should show up, and I should have something cool. So that said, there are times when I do need to be on my schedule. actually had a fairly substantial lunch. Carrots and peas and a whole lot of onions, which meant that it was obviously not safe to share with the cats, and ground what I'm guessing is beef hamburger meat. Now, I had something 3 days in a row that was really good. It was a mixture of ground beef and rice. And oh, it was so good. It had a little bit of carrots in it, but the ground beef had a real nice seasoning in it. I didn't need to add extra salt to it. Yeah, onions and garlic are supposed to be dangerous for cats and dogs. Even though the garlic I'm really surprised by, because I used to read that when you kill fleas, it's supposed to be a non-toxic way to kill fleas and to discourage the fleas from biting your cats. So, but I can't imagine that being safe. If it's dangerous for a cat to eat garlic, then how can it be safe to lick garlic oil that's on a cat's fur? So, and it's like anything else. The more you get knowledge about something, then you know what not to do. And the last thing I would want to do is poison my cats. But I know with dogs, you can't have grapes, you can't have onions, cats can't have mushrooms. I guess it might possibly be the same way with dogs. I don't know. I don't know very much about dogs. But it seems to me that they post a lot more information about what's not safe for dogs to eat than it is for what's not safe for cats to eat. But I always, whenever I get the stuff about the animals, I always share that on Facebook and any other social networks online. Now, I didn't think that we were going to have turkey this year because food is gone up so much in price, but I found out that yes, I am going to be getting a turkey this year, even though I almost don't see the point in cooking up a big feast. My brother's probably going to be going out to friends' places or something. He's always going out someplace. And I know I'm going to be eating a couple of days beforehand. There's going to be Thanksgiving meals all up and down in this city, all kinds of meals for this group and that group. And if you're some kind of poor person, there's a group that's, or a church or something that's feeding people and stuff. And especially if you don't mind waiting in line. And that's kind of going to be a social thing. And now that it's no longer summertime, people just don't seem to be hanging out socializing as much. And I really miss that. And I never did end up doing anything for my birthday. I mean, I got some goodies in the mail from some friends. Wish I would have gotten some meat. That would really be nice. And let the heat in the pan do the rest of it, because it actually smells like it's almost burning a little bit. Yes, the smell of this flatbread is probably filling the whole apartment. So this is what they look like. I'm going to stick them in here. And this is what that raising dough looks like right now. You figure by around, you might doing that again. I mean, I think you've got the gist of it. So that is what the flatbread looks like. And you see, it doesn't really damage the pan afterwards. Again, I am not inexperienced baker. I even when I was in Los Angeles and I lived with a whole bunch of roommates and stuff, a lot of times I did the cooking, but once I was working in films and television, and I was working, if you ever worked in sets, so when I was doing that, I didn't have to. Yes, I lived in Los Angeles. I always had these showbiz dreams. Work out there was I was a stage dancer, actually in supermarkets, and I tried telemarketing. I was selling things like toners and office supplies and things. That's like the most common job if you're looking for a job in Los Angeles and you don't want a dress code, especially if you're a rock and roller, try to look like a person in a band, and you can't be all normal looking and stuff. So telephone work is very common for showbiz people. But then I started getting bit parts in films and TV shows, and that was such a game changer because you're basically being paid to party. They feed you, they take care of all your needs as long as once you get on set with your wardrobe, and usually you show up on your set camera ready, but sometimes a lot of women I knew didn't do their makeup, they just let hair and makeup do it. But if you're really, really, really a stickler for having your image, you know, if you're like myself, I always did my makeup, and then a lot of times I would help. It's a real big cattle call, and you have a whole lot of people there. There's not enough people in here in makeup to do everybody, so that's why they prefer people to show up already done. So yeah, as far as things I could put on there, I could cook up some rice. I have a rice steamer. Then I can put some tuna and oil over it, which I think tuna and oil over rice is just the most wonderful thing. And you know what? I think my rice cooker has dried now, so I can actually do that. I love rice steamers. You never have to worry about burning your rice when you use a rice steamer. Okay, speaking of rice out, and I never measure it with a measuring cup. I always use a coffee cup. I can't use my located coffee cup though, because it holds such a large amount that it actually would overflow the rice cooker. So you know what? I will go ahead and do this because I don't really feel the need to just stop this right away, especially if you guys are watching and you're interested and you want to talk. You know. Was a guy, he was half Korean and half Irish, and his wife was Korean, and he used to go to get all kinds of condiments and spices and things in these big Asian supermarkets, and that's the first time I ever saw a rice steamer, aside from in Chinese restaurants. Yeah, I notice it depends on the kind of rice. With a lot of rice, you have to use, it's more like 1 3/4 parts rice, or 1 3/4 parts water to 1 part of rice. But then some rices, it's a full 2-to-1 ratio. Now with basmati rice, you actually should soak it in water for a half hour before you turn it on. But other kinds of rice, if you try doing that, it just gets soggy and waterlogged, and that can be pretty nasty. I haven't realized that there is such a thing as overcooked rice but there is, if you use too much water and it becomes really soggy and stuff. But then again, if rice is undercooked, that's really nasty too. And I have had rice steamers, or I have had semi-raw rice before. First time that happened, matter of fact, was in Washington, D.C., the Union Station. I was coming back from President George W. experience in going to Washington, D.C. It was before one of my friends got an apartment there. And you know the presidential inauguration is always on January 20th, and it's always very cold. So, and boy, when that sun goes down and it's in the middle of winter in Washington, D.C., it is freezing. And I always bundle up, but I always wear formal wear. When I go to inaugurations, I always dress up real fancy in a long dress of some kind. And freezing, and I didn't know my way around Washington, D.C. that well. Here, I'm trying to turn this around so you can see the rice steamer. Some of these things, like this is my mother's pills. I didn't clear this off all the way like I should have. Here. This is, it would help if I got the lid. Oh, it would help if I plugged the darn thing in, wouldn't it? Okay. So, but yeah, I did not know other neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., so I didn't know where to go to get something to eat. I would have loved to have gone to a Chinese restaurant someplace. Well, in the ground floor of Union Station, they have a food court. And of course, I went to the nearest Chinese stall they had there. And I had whatever it was with rice, and the rice was half raw. And I was so disappointed. It was close to their closing. So I really didn't have too many options. And the thing is, your Greyhound departures out of Washington, D.C. are very limited. There's only one or two that go toward Philadelphia or Atlantic City, New Jersey. So the bus departure leaves like 10 minutes before 4 a.m. is the only time you can leave there. If you can't catch that 7 p.m. bus, you got to wait until almost 4 o'clock in the morning to leave. And just like if I want to go to Washington, D.C., I have to leave around 1 something in the morning, or maybe it's 10 something at night, and get there at 1 something in the morning. There is no normal kind of morning arrival. So it must be really hard if you're commuting there, if you're going from Philadelphia or from Atlantic City to Washington, D.C. It seems to me that they should have some arrivals. Like, I would think a 6 a.m. arrival would be really good, because it would get you there in plenty of time for if you had work there, or if you're doing something where you had to be there in the morning for some kind of patriotic event of some kind. And let's face it, what's the main reason why people go to Washington, D.C.? Either they are going to some kind of political patriotic event, or they're going for work, or they're going to sightsee and things. And if you're going to sightsee, don't you want to be there for the full day to see everything in the morning, afternoon, and night? It gives you more of a chance to eat all the wonderful food that's there and see all the exciting things that the district has to offer. But when you have limited arrivals and departure times, it just makes it hard. Oh, you want to see my N95 mask? Okay, I need to get a couple face masks. You guys, oh, let me turn this on. Let me get some masks. It's time for the face. Okay. The first things I could grab. Let me move this back to. I do want to cover this. There. All right. Now, here's what I grabbed. First thing I'm going to do is a N95. This is made in China, and red one goes with my outfit here. It's always tricky dealing with earrings. Pinch the thing, make sure that there's a seal. And now I take my rolling pin and I go after all the bad people. You watch, this thing would snap and this would go and break something and I would cry. And you know what? This seems to go well with my outfit too. And these are comfortable for breathing in. Yeah. Oh, and I should show that off too. You know what? I'm going to show you guys something else. Hold on. Okay. Check this out. This is the Mimosa Palette I got from B&H Cosmetics. I've been playing around with this. Isn't this pretty? So I used mostly this red in the crease and this metallic pink. No. I used this color called Champagne on my lids. This is the eyeliner I used, Too Faced. It says Better Than Sex. And for my eyebrows this time, I couldn't find the usual dark purple lipstick that I've been using with the brush. So I used this purple eyeliner pencil. And that's what I used for my eyebrows. But usually I use this brush with this real dark purple lipstick. And look what else I got here. I got the Aura mask. This is the most disturbing looking all these face masks. It really okay, good. And this you have to be really careful how you put this on. Do cut into the face, so that makes it kind of uncomfortable. You know, I'm going to take these earrings out right now because I really do not want to hurt myself. It's very easy to get face mask things caught up in them. What do you think? I've seen some military personnel wear these masks. When I got my first shot, I saw some, I think they were from New Jersey Air National Guard. Quack, quack. It looks like a duck. And it talks like a duck. And this is a size small. of the, now this was actually repaired size small N95 that my mother sewed the straps from a surgical mat onto the sides. And of course, this is absolutely useless, but I'll tell you, since I already have my shots, sometimes I'll go for comfort and easy breathability. It doesn't feel as hot as the KN95s and the N95. The only reason why this says KN95 is because it was made in China. And of course, you know I have purple. Trying to think if I have anything else I don't have to dig for. I better seal this so that it doesn't spill open. That would just really suck. I gotta find a big rubber band, which is how I sealed that. You know what? I might not be able to find it. I might have to use something else. Oh, here, I found it. The rubber band. Okay, good. Here. You like how I hold my makeup brushes? This is, if you remember that movie called A Christmas Story, this is a miniature version of the leg lamp. This is actually supposed to, this holds a votive candle and a lampshade, but I just love using it to hold my makeup brushes as I use them, so when I, like for instance, I can, here I will use this mirror, and this is the crease color. And this is that champagne color. And this is the under eye color. And it looks like my mascara may have smudged just a tiny little bit. And I just hate it when that happens. But this is really a nice palette. And again, I got everything half price. Yeah, that's the only way to shop. And I see my Cassie. I'm gonna steal. Oh, she knows I'm gonna look at my baby. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Look at that pretty girl. Oh, oh, for you, Amir. Nobody could say I don't think of people who watch me. Meow, 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 meow. When you watch me, I'm going to find a place that sells kitty face now. Oh, oh, you so Cassie. This is my Cassie baby. She can't hear a word I say. Oh, Cassie. Put me down. Put me down. Send help. Oh, no. Wait. Send help. Oh. Quack, 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 quack. I don't want the corona. Oh. I don't want no corona here. We don't want no corona. We don't want Angie Bungie. No, we don't want any of that. I don't want no Delta, Epsilon. We don't want any of that. Right? Oh, okay. Okay. Now the breathing with this is hot, but it's not uncomfortable. Okay, I'll put you down. I'll put you down, you grumpy cat. Yeah, she does. I had Cassie over 2 years before I found out that she couldn't hear. I do have a playlist of cat videos, and I have a video of the story of how I got her, and I have a video of the day that I finally realized she couldn't hear. So I think my videos are pretty well organized in the playlist. So if you're looking for a certain subject, you can binge watch any subject you like. See my cannabis plant. It's not doing too well. Hold on. Oh, and it's okay for me to show you because this is the state of New Jersey. Thank you. This is the state of New Jersey where technically marijuana is fully legal. So I'm not worried if you're the feds or the fuzz. You're not going to hurt me. Okay, don't laugh at this. I was told that, well, first of all, he's got some kind of pest infestation. So I was keeping this actually in here for a while because I didn't want it to affect my other plants. But it was nice and it had all kinds of leaves here, bushy, and then the side leaves were growing. But then whatever the pest is was eating away at the leaves and was leaving like some kind of almost like when snails have that mucilage kind of whatever the slime that they leave behind was coating the leaves, and you can see it is really not what it used to be. But it definitely smells resiny. But the thing is, this is also a male plant, which means it is not good for anything. I'm going to show you something else. Hold on. Want to see hot peppers? And this has got two little white flowers on it, which means they're going to get some more. These are hot peppers I grew from seed. There is a community garden across the street that I have not been able to use this year because of all the gangs that are out front. It just is not safe to just go in and out. And so anyway, I grew this and it's on my windowsill in the grow room. This long spindly thing here is a lentil. I have never, lentils that I tried growing, I've never even gotten to see what their flowers look like. Maybe because there's so little light that gets in the house. But tiny, tiny, tiny little peppers. And there's no hard or fast rule, but a lot of times if the pepper is a smaller pepper, it tends to be hotter. If you hear a funny watery sound, the rice cooker is bubbling up now. You want to see what it's doing? Oh, yeah, of course. But these are so not extremely hot. Like the first time I tried one, I tried a tiniest, tiniest little bit. And of course, if it doesn't have seeds, the seeds are where most of the heat tends to be. But it also gives the what I first time I tried when I tore it up in a bunch of little pieces and I put it in ramen noodles. Because you figure that way if it's too hot, it gets distributed all the way through. And it didn't add a whole lot of appreciable heat. So if we're considering how small these peppers are, and let's consider how many are on a plant. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 9 are on that you really do anything with. I have another plant that I'd like to show you, but it's a little on the fragile side. It's a tomato plant, and it's kind of long and spindly, and it's about a little over a year old. It'll probably, and you know, tomato plants normally they kill off when frost happens, but if you bring them indoors, you can have plants. A tomato plant can live well over 2 years old. I know that because that's how long they can be. But if they're indoors and you don't have a whole lot of sun, it might be at least a year and a half old before they start getting their yellow flowers, which of course is where your tomatoes come from. But one of these days before the killing frost, I need to go across the street. I've been saving up coffee grounds in a compost heap, and I want to donate it to the farmers and maybe show them that not too well, marijuana plant. Maybe they'll give me some better seeds so I can grow something that's not swag. Because the last plant I grew, I forgot to cure the buds. You're supposed to actually regulate the humidity, and you're supposed to take, when you do the trimming and everything, you're supposed to put the buds in a jar and seal them up. But you're supposed to have the kind of device that says just what the humidity is, and you're supposed to control the humidity during the curing process. And I never did that, so they're still in a paper bag in one of the closets. And I'm pretty sure it's just swag. So, and obviously with a male plant, there's not going to be any buds at all. So, I wish I knew what the pest was, but I tried using the sprayer here in the kitchen sink to try to take whatever pests were on them, and I never saw any flies or any larvae or any worms or any caterpillars or anything. So I have no idea just what it is that was eating away at the leaves of that plant, but they didn't touch anything else. So I had put it here for a while, but I felt that it wasn't getting enough light, so I finally put it back. So right now I'm just growing it just to grow it. You know. So, but Saturday I really did want to do some news commentary and stuff, but just my brain wasn't functioning enough. I just couldn't. You know, if I certain kinds of subjects, when you cover them, you really have to be prepared. And if I'm prepared well, and if I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders, those kind of videos uh, do very well, and there tends to be a lot of engagement in them, both when I do the live stream and on the replay. People seem to really be into them, but you need to really be on top of your game mentally to pull it off. And this weekend, I was not. I was just so tired. And I think it's this cold weather a lot out of a person too. You're walking around like I had to go out this weekend to get some local newspapers, and the cold kind of hits you. And then I tried to do a little bit of filming up in the north part of the boardwalk, but all I was able to do was a brief turnaround and a sign off, and I didn't film anything in between. So I don't even think I'm going to end up able to do anything with that footage. I thought that I was going to get to walk around some of the casinos, and I wanted to scout out some other places that I could film, some places outdoors that had some nice views and things, but I never got around to doing it, partly because since the time change, now it gets dark earlier. So, it was a thought. I think this is going to shut off shortly. So, let me give you another view of my flatbreads here. So I suppose this looks normal. Oh, I got my skincare order from Decium, the company that makes The Ordinary. So maybe in a couple of days I'll do the unboxing about that. Yeah, yeah, I think I need to be doing some repotting. I had a pot of soil we have a full bag that slams really hard, and you have cracks. We have cracks in the facade of the building that just get worse and worse because of the swinging doors and things. And it's either that or when the cats knocked the plant down, but I don't know. So I had to stop using that windowsill, and now I'm back to using the grow room again. But yeah, Now, I think that on the first Friday of every month, there's a club in Tropicana Casino called Boogie Nights, and they have this thing called Cougars and Cubs Ball. It's free to get in if you get in before 10 o'clock. And even though I don't have current photo ID right now, I think I'm pretty sure I could still get in. But I haven't been to that club in a couple of years. They got stricter and stricter with security, and they wouldn't let you bring your coats in anymore. And I would always bring my coat in and hang it over the railings that is around the dance floor. I could never see using coat check because I lived to stash a coat when I literally live nearby. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to have to find out if they're still not letting people bring their coats in the club. I think that's a little silly because I mean, who doesn't like the convenience of knowing your coat's there? When I go to clubs, I always walk in comfortable shoes and I bring my high heels there and I put my high heels on when I get there. And I have this long leather trench coat that actually I deliberately tore the one of my pockets so that I can go right from the pocket to the lining, and I could use all that body of the coat to put things my if I'm wearing them, and it's all there, and I don't have to worry about how I'm going to carry it or carrying yet another thing besides my purse. And then you have to worry about security and things. But if they're going to be insisting on people using coat check, and of course that's going to add to the cost of the evening. You know, everybody's got a racket and stuff. But I've just been trying to find things to do in this town, and the colder it gets, the less things there are. And as far as dance clubs go, I don't want to go to some place that's playing current music because I don't want to be exposed to current pop music when I'm dealing with music that I'm writing myself. I don't want to be inspired by today's music. I totally must avoid that. So, uh, but yeah, I don't like cold weather. I don't like dressing for it. Well, if I go to Boogie Nights, that's going to be 70s, 90s music, and that's half of that's hip hop, and I really don't care for hip hop. The only rap music I like is really, really, really old school stuff that's really not offensive, like stuff by Sugar Hill Gang and Grandmaster Flash and stuff like that. But the kind of stuff that's pornographic and women hating and obnoxious. To me, that could be a soundtrack for the gangs that hang out across the street that have their calls that they so that you know who's out there. And some of them they drive cars they blast that music, and half the time they start doing that when I'm getting ready to film. And of course I don't want to get music in the background of these videos because then if YouTube AI hears it, then we can get copyright strikes. But where I would really like to go is places that have a great fondness for classic rock, 70s and 80s rock music. I like country also. And there used to be a casino that played country music, but now they don't play it as much. And it's a shame because I think that draws a really nice crowd that doesn't tend to be like we had Jay-Z had a sports bar here for a while called the 2020 Club, and the city ended up closing it down because people were shooting each other up in the line waiting to get in. And come on, how can you enjoy the process of getting ready to go to a club and waiting to be in if people are shooting at each other? That kind of tends to take some of the allure away. You shouldn't have to worry about your safety when you just want to go out clubbing, you know. And as far as gunshots goes, we hear gunshots outside here sometimes. And none of the bad guys ever are affected by this. I think maybe it's people who are shooting out of cars or something. But this is very, very rough. And this neighborhood has gotten worse since we've been here. And we've lived in this apartment now 11 years. I can't believe it's been 11 years. My God. And the thing is, the prior apartment I lived in, my father is still alive. I was helping to take care of him. And there was a lot of vacant lots, and it was similarly ghetto, but at least everybody wasn't on top of everybody because you had all these vacant lots. But of course, that made it dangerous too. But then there is a playground not too far away, and people would go jump the fence and they would be playing basketball in the basketball court and the bouncing of the ball, even though it was two or three right there where it was hearing the bouncing, 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 and it was just really obnoxious. And people be doing this 2, 3 in the morning and stuff. But this was just before I discovered YouTube. So actually let it be plugged in for like 10 minutes and then I pull the plug. So one thing I noticed with these rice cookers is it ends up kind of browning the bottom level of the rice. And the thing is, there is a bunch of recipes that call for the crunchy rice, but I find that that's really hard to chew and it can be really uncomfortable. So I don't use my rice that way, so I don't let it get too hard. Now, I didn't hear the thing go off. I don't know if it's been 10 minutes. Pull the thing. I will open up these. I think that is just such a tasty thing. I love sardines. So I lived in Torrance, and then I wanted to be in Hollywood because that's where, when you're in the rock and roll scene, you want to be where the rockers are. So I did a lot of sleeping in my car the first year and a half I was there. And one of my favorite lunches was 2 fresh bagels and sardines over oil. Oh, a little salt and pepper. That was just heaven. I love fish, can you tell? Uh, if you're going to be homeless, you can be affording to eat out very much. I didn't believe in paying more than $2.99 plus tax for your lunch. And now I don't think you can. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing. Opening the tuna, trying not to spill it, the oil in the new makeup palette because that would really suck. Mm. Now I'm going to get the rice. Here. Oh. Mm. All right, I'm going to get one of these flatbreads out. It's definitely flat. Why do I get the feeling I need to wash my hands? touch it. That's really smart. Don't be too surprised if we don't get a curious kitty pretty soon. She's got a good sense of smell on her too, that cat. You know, I could use either lemon juice or I can use powdered lemon or lime. It's a company called True Lime, True Lemon. It makes it powdered. And I found it at the dollar store, believe it or not. And I got, I think, 3 boxes of them. And each of them, the packets, is kind of like a sweet and low size packet. Of course, it's very easy for moisture to get at. I guess I'm going to have to just open another. Of course, there's so much stuff in here. You know what? I don't feel like giving. I will just use. Oh, oh, well, thank you, She Cats. Yes, I did work. This is tuna fish in oil, but I will eat sardines in oil. I've probably never met a fish I didn't love. It's the best. And if you're lucky enough to get it for 99 cents, a lot of times it's a lot more expensive than that. I know Goya puts it out, but you can get it for cheaper, especially at Mexican markets. Some of the best food can be found in Spanish markets. And if you get those Lay's limon chips, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They are my favorite. I don't know if they make them in Mexico or what, but they're really tuning in. I'm going to try to cook every Tuesday night. I'm going to try to cook something. And maybe I'll do that skincare review or something on Thursday. So thank you for tuning in. Sam and all that too. But yeah, so this is, oh, salt and pepper will be necessary. And I'm using the pink Himalayan salt. It just, it's more, it's more elevated than plain old salt. So there Cassie comes. She knows there's food. Oh, listen to that. She thinks she's going to get some. Okay, I'll try. Mm. Okay. Yes, I'm going to eat good. Oh, no, 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 you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh, oh, I love you. I love you. Yes, I love you. I'll tell you what. I'll give you some cat food. You're not okay. It's time for me to eat. If you like this video, feel free to give a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, please do subscribe. If you do, hit the bell so you're not missing anything. And I gotta take this away from her so she doesn't ambush me. Yeah, try making this flatbread. It's easy. I'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take care. Have a good night. Don't get your COVID. Get your shots. Unless, of course, you're allergic to it, or if you already had COVID, then you have a better immunity to it. But I'm going to eat. I will talk to you soon. Amir, it was good to see you. Don't you dare. Oh, all right. I'll talk to everybody soon. Catch you on Thursday or something. Bye.